My name is Ray Palermo, and I'm the community manager here at Radionomy. And we welcome you to this web series because it's an opportunity for us to really get to know some leading edge creators in the radio world and how they're using digital technology to really chart their own course. And I'm excited to welcome to the webinar today um, DJ Hatta, who you might know as the Mad Hatter, who is Houston's, really a Houston radio icon. He has hosted the number one morning show in Houston for over a decade on KBXX 97.9, The Box. And I'm just going to just do some, flattering for a little bit before we bring him onto the show. He has been nominated for the prestigious Marconi Award and has been Billboard's Personality of the Year. He's also been a great contributor to his community, his charitable efforts. He's consistently ranked in the top 30 top power DJs and has also been inducted into the Texas Radio Hall of Fame. It goes on, but I'll just say one more thing. In 2014, President Barack Obama singled out the Mad Hatta Morning Show as one of the country's most impactful shows that educated Houston about the benefits of the Affordable Care Act. So we are really excited to have DJ Hatta on the line, and welcome to the show.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Good, glad to have you, and I apologize for the start here, but we're really excited to have you on the line and talk a little bit about what you're doing in the world of radio and internet radio and all good things. So, I know that you've had this new project called Super Throwback Party on the Radionomy network, but for those of you who are not familiar, before we jump into talking about that, tell us a little bit about your experience in radio and how you actually came to do the morning show there in Houston.
Wow, I just been I've been in the marketplace for a while. I started basically almost a teenager in the marketplace and kind of just grown here. And just like all jobs, start off as a DJ, then doing nights, then doing afternoons, and somehow somebody decides that they think you're decent enough to do the morning show. And pretty much been doing it for the last few years. But I will add, with the Super Throwback Radio Show, it's definitely, I'm a part of it, but my partner Crazy C, many people will know Crazy C because he produced like Wu-Tang and tracks for Outkast back in the days and Above the Law. And so we partnered. He really was the person that brought this to me in the beginning because he's the more technical. We have a studio. We've been best friends for I don't know how long, since
almost 20 years.
Too long. We like brothers. So he really was the person that brought this to me and said, man, this is something that we need to be a part of because we had this, we got a love for music. Him being, this incredible producer with platinum and gold records, he felt sorry for an old school DJ like myself and let me be his friend and brought me into this thing. And
come on,
No, really, and he's really the technical side of everything. He understands how everything works. He's a music connoisseur, much like myself, but he definitely is the brain trust when it comes to how to get this thing moving. Because we had it for a while before I even messed with it. And then one day he made me come to the studio like, hey, man, the radio station just sitting here with nothing on it. Let's get some music on this thing and let's start getting this thing working. So the idea of it really started off as we wanted it to be every single day, nothing but total mixing, old school music. We're big fans of old school hip hop and stuff like that. So it was really a hobby of love and loving old school. And there's really no medium out there that was really having that kind of music on it. Cold Crush and Crash, Crew, and also the other good stuff from the 80s. And then, of course, trying to operate as a radio station, we decided to put some 70s and some 90s and do some different day party and different programming on the radio station. But, initial thought was just to make it a radio station that was 24/7 mixing. But, due to some of the rules and laws of Radionomy, we had to make some concessions. And, we really had to start programming it much like a real radio station and doing specialty mixes around the clock in areas where we could do it, really.
So tell us a little bit about how you found Radionomy. So you you got introduced to internet radio. You started to see the potential. It sounds like you both had, that light bulb moment where it says there's a lot of potential here. But how did you go about finding Radionomy and jumping onto the platform?
I'm gonna let Crazy C talk about that because Crazy C is the internet gadget guy, and he really brought this thing to me, and we ran with it once he brought it to me.
Um, I knew that there were a lot of places online that you can do internet radio. I won't name the other names, but most of them want you to pay licensing fees. So as I searched around, I ran across Radionomy just doing the Google search, and it impressed me that Radionomy will allow you to create your own station, that you don't have to pay any licensing fees. All you have to do is to be able to maintain a certain amount of listening hours, and it's basically free. And that intrigued me, and that's how we ran across you guys.
Awesome. Well, I know it's something that we have held, as a company mission is to get these tools in the hands of people like yourselves who really are great creators of content, who, the audience is waiting for you, and it's just a matter of connecting those dots. And it's exciting to be able to put this in your hands and then also just give you the freedom to succeed because, like you said, it can be great to get online in internet radio, but once you start seeing your streaming bill and your music licensing bill, it can get
Oh
a
yeah,
little less exciting.
oh yeah, no doubt about it, no doubt about it.
So tell us a little bit about Super Throwback Party so that people who aren't familiar with it, where is it now? Where do you guys see it going as not only just a stream, but as sort of a community that you all have built there?
Once again, C has a lot of that insight, building a website where there could be a location where people could go uh, to get more information, not just about the show, but so they could communicate with us, and apps that they could download for the radio station and those kind of things. But like I said, initially when we started this thing, it was the idea of nothing but old school throwbacks of continuous mixing. And, again, those rules and ramifications, like, you could only, put those music slots together for 15-minute lengths. So, we started saying, okay, we have to program other music on the radio station. But primarily, 70s, 80s, 90s is where we wanted to be at. A lot of the funky stuff, a lot of the old school rap, a lot of our favorite old school R&B, and really just trying to stay in our own lane of, not really being where other radio stations, internet or terrestrial wise, would be, just trying to be different from what they were doing. And, kind of at first started off as a place where I wanted to go where I could hear some old school, funky four and Spoonie G and stuff like that, to be honest with you. And it just started to grow from there. Every time you talk to somebody, you're like, hey, well, check this out. You like old school hip hop and things of that nature, and being on Twitter and Instagram and, sending that stuff out. And it just, one thing led to another. This becomes like it's almost like a job. You have to sit there, you have to program it, you have to make sure what you're doing is sounding right. We wanted ours to sound very professional because not only is Simon a producer, but Crazy C is also he's in radio just like me because he produces for the Yolanda Adams Morning Show. So bringing that radio experience, we wanted to have a radio station that sounded very professional. When we listened to it aesthetically, we wanted it to sound professional. Even if it was mixing going on or, just the regular music that we would day part into the radio station. But we wanted it to be as professional sounding as possible and to have it, it's a super throwback party. Whenever you listen, it's going to be hopefully some great throwbacks that, people like ourselves who are just old school music enthusiasts would enjoy. And honestly, too, because, when I went to school, I was into go-go and house music. So all those things are a part of this radio station, just to give you a different radio station experience online.
And we envision it, to grow and to be a place where people can come and fill that niche, as Hatta said, that's not really being filled right now. And we're growing by leaps and bounds, and eventually, hopefully, we want to take it and eventually be able to make some money off of it.
Amen. Amen. I love that. So, tell me how much social media had to really play in your ability to get the kind of listeners and get people following you, because I know that once you get a station, it's exciting. But what did you guys do on the social media side to help get people to the broadcast and more importantly start sharing it?
I don't remember exactly what year did we get started. See, was it 2012?
Since 2012, yeah, late 2012, early 2013.
Mostly, it started with Facebook and Twitter. Every now and again, we like I said, it's such a day part of radio station in the evening because I was thinking about my lifestyle. And late at night, you might be with a nice person. You might want some slow jams to be on, if you know what I mean. So I wanted the kind of slow jams that I like to get familiar with somebody with. So when we did the station, when I would hear songs that I like, I would like shoot out an Instagram or a tweet about it or hit something on Facebook, which it would go to all of them at the same time. And I think really what started to happen is we ironically started to build I don't want to call it a quiet storm, but I guess it is sort of. But the quiet storm portion of our radio station really started to take off. And then, we do a lot of promoting within the radio station about, listen here at this time we do this, listen here at this time we do this.
Setting appointments.
Yeah, setting appointments and things of that nature. And I think what started to happen, it just started to funnel down to people would find places that they'd like to go other than maybe listening to the slow songs. And just little by little, it just started to work itself out. And pretty organically, to be honest with you, sometimes once you start things, sometimes they have a tendency to just, grab legs of their own and start to walk on their own. And we've noticed a lot of that starting to happen as well.
And I tell you one thing the Radionomy has, which I think is a cool feature, is the social media feature where it'll tweet the songs. You put the little icon next to the song, and that helps because like a lot of the songs that we play, it'll automatically tweet them out to our Facebook and our Twitter, and people who are looking for these songs, when you put the hashtag by it, they'll start following us, and of course they'll sample the station and like what they hear, they'll stay with us.
That's awesome. I love that you guys are bringing back that live feeling to internet radio, because a lot of us who've been listening to internet radio are used to sort of playlists and, not really infusing the personality and the energy behind great music, but also that idea that, hey, this is happening now. I'm feeling this now, and there's an opportunity to listen together, which I think is something that is so important to really make, internet radio that kind of community. So I appreciate that integration of social media and the player itself. I know that we've also put you guys on TuneIn, which looks like it's gotten you some additional audience as well. And I'm putting here with what the Super Throwback Party looks like on the TuneIn app. And so there's an opportunity for us to kind of do our best to push you guys out to what the latest, greatest way that people connect to radio. So, and that's the cool thing about working together, is that you guys provide incredible content, and we're going to give you the backbone to really get to where not only where today's audience is, but where's tomorrow's audience. Obviously it's going to be mobile, and that's an important part of what we're doing with the mobile player, and hopefully are you guys thinking about a mobile app?
Well, we do have the one app, on your phone that you can download and actually get it wherever you go. So you can have it on your phone and it rolls with you wherever you want to go. So yeah, we definitely all over that. Like I said, make sure that we are on top of the technology as it is concerned. So yeah, we did get the app and it's doing pretty well for us. We're pretty excited about it. And that's something else. Like I said, that's his thing. He finds out about all this stuff because I'm always kind of busy doing other things. He's like, oh yeah, man, let's get this app. I'm like, let's do it. And he's been real good at that. Like, that's really his forte. He loves technology and information and all that stuff. So, he's like my big brother. I just roll with him.
That's a good matchup. I love it. So, one of the advantages of terrestrial radio, obviously, is that you're in a city. There's a way to create a real community. Obviously, Hatta, you've been really involved in Houston, and been part of that whole scene. Now, when you get online, suddenly it's a global community. Any thoughts on how you guys are going to, reach out and keep connected to what now is a pretty large audience that's all over the world?
Well, and that's funny that you mentioned that, because when we do Super Throwback Party, because it actually started off as just a radio show that was on radio, and then it became an extension onto its own little radio station platform, if you will, with the Super Throwback Party Radio. Uh, I think that was always our thought, to not necessarily think, what we do on radio here, we love what we do here. I love what I've done here, but the reason for being able to play go-go music and to play house music and to play old school hip hop and stay, to us, it's throwbacks and anything throwback, we feel like we're able to play it as long as it has a nice little groove to it. Because these are all the music this is the music that I kind of grew up to. I kind of have an eclectic style, probably more so than C. Well, I can't even say that because C is a producer, so he's all about finding new sounds and things that he can sample and rework and change around.
Junior Morrison.
Yeah, because he's an old school funk guy. But I think our thought is always on what you can do, because I think the new world, the new frontier is the world. It's just not where you are at the particular moment. Simon is always crazy. So excuse me, I go back and forth between his real name and his nickname. But oftentimes he's shown me where somebody might be listening somewhere overseas, and so you want to be doing things that, yeah, you want to give them a little taste of what you're doing, but you kind of want a poker, you want a gumbo pot, like, cause we love gumbo down here. So you want a whole bunch of different things in this pot, and you're hoping to reach out to different people at different times. And I guess my goal, because I think like a radio guy, I guess Simon does too as well, is what can I do to carry them for the next 15 to 20 minutes? So I'm always thinking in 15, to hold them 15, 20 minutes, because I'm a time spent listening radio guy. So, if I can keep them for this lot, I'll keep them for this lot of space and time. And then maybe I got a house music mix on, and I might lose somebody there, but I pick up these guys as soon as they see the tweets go out. I pick up the guys and girls who like house music. And I know it's going to be the millennials that are really into it, because they're usually the first one to, are attracted to technology and being online and being a part of that world. But every day, I think if everyone's growing into this, to the internet and what's happening these days, and I think it just can always look at the radio station and say to yourself, what can we do to add to it today? So we're constantly trying to tweak or take something out or put something in or refresh, or new drops from the guy we have to do our voice, which is an old friend of mine as well. There's always some tweaking going on, and the mindset is always to think in a more international way.
I love it. So am I hearing maybe there might be some multiple streams coming through? I know one of the things that we love about the Radionomy Network is you can start as many stations as your heart desires. So do we hear another possible stream coming through pretty soon?
That is a really good question.
Can we get a scoop here?
We have discussed it, but I was so I wanted to see the success of one, as opposed to trying to start 22 and just
there you
really
go.
be all over the place. I really wanted to focus on one, be the best at that one. And Crazy C's really into gospel now, especially working with Yolanda, I suppose, and that's his life. So I definitely want to go and have maybe a gospel station online and do some things there where it's a little more radical with holy hip hop and things of that nature, because I think that's mentally where not only am I, but I know for sure that's where C is at. So there's things that we want to try there, but I think our goal is to sit back. We're the kind of guys who want to sit there. Let's be successful at this. Let's do this the best that we can. Let's see what we can do with these apps. Let's see what we can do with the website. Let's see how we can really make this thing work for us right here. If we can make that work, then let's start to consider what other avenues we can move into and try to promote or explore, however you want to look at that.
That sounds like a good plan. No, you're right. Because obviously you guys are doing something right, and then you can duplicate it and be that much farther along in the game. Now, speaking of the label and introducing new music, I mean, what's so exciting about internet radio is not only bringing back songs that have left the airways for various reasons, but new artists coming on, breaking into the scene. And now, is that why you guys jumped in and started a label? So tell us a little bit about Paid in Full.
Wow, that's a good question. I'm a DJ. My first dream was to, my favorite rapper was Rakim. So, I'd like to, in my mind, have fancied myself to be Rakim or Jay-Z, but it just quite didn't come out like that on record. But it started off with me making records, and then, we started signing people that we just admired, really.
Right.
Chamillionaire and Paul Wall,
Local Bud.
we just, and it just, I don't know. It just kind of happened naturally. Simon was already a big time producer. We had a studio. He was always producing. I'm like, we got tracks, we got music. We know people. Let's see how far we can go. And I've always, even when I was in first year of college, I don't know how I did it, but I always had like a little record company. I used to put out blues records and stuff like that. So it's always something that I did. It's something that's in my blood, I guess. So it was kind of just natural, us being friends and doing the record label and him being a producer, me being totally into music and trying to write myself and produce it myself. It was just natural. It was a natural progression for us, really. Um, so it really just came out of our friendship and a natural progression that, hey, we might as well just do our own records.
Right.
And, we did that for a while. We had a lot of fun with it and had a really, really big company. And one day I was like, hey, I'm going back being a DJ now. If you want to continue doing this, you can have it.
But we still do good with our catalog, though. So.
Yes, we do.
I love it. I love it. Well, definitely the industry is changing so fast, and keeping up with
Yes.
what's next is really a challenge. And I think by you guys keeping connected to the listeners, the people who love what you do, and that's really a key part of it. So I think that no matter what, it always has to come back down to good content, technology or no technology. It's really about what we're all looking for, and I really consider you guys curators in the sense that you're, listening to a lot of stuff, a lot of stuff, but you're bringing through exactly what we need to hear when we need to hear it. And, frankly, I'm really not interested in DJing my own show. I really appreciate you being there. there's there's many of us who just want to sit back and really experience the expertise and the personality and sort of the history that you bring to this. And so we so appreciate you guys being willing to step into the technology, which I know can be, it's an unknown. It's really a new venture. It's a lot of us are trying to really focus on how can we hone this great technology and make it, really uh, something that you can make a difference with, that you can actually build a business around. And that's why Radiotomy, really tries to focus in on here's the steps you got to take.
Yeah.
All these ideas are great, but until you get it out there and see people listening, you really don't know if what you have in your head is really going to fly.
Absolutely.
you know.
Absolutely. And Ray, we appreciate the opportunity as well. When we met you down in Austin, we had a really, really good talk with you. And we appreciate all the information because the information that you gave to us there. Because I mean, I know they was doing this thing and everybody was having a good time, and me and Crazy C kind of like came to you like, no, we're here on business because we're trying to grow this radio station. So we're kind of serious about it. But we appreciate all that information because every single thing that you told us is things that we, started operating and doing, and it really helped us a lot. And although we're having fun doing this, we also take it serious too because we do believe that this is the new frontier. We see what's happening with iTunes. It's funny because nobody is buying music or wants to buy music like they used to, but everyone loves music. So the music is not going to die. It's just going to be in the presentation of it. How people make money with it is going to be interesting to see in the next few years. All these things that we're doing now are definitely taking us somewhere. Where exactly that is, I don't know, but we want to be on the frontier path with the new thing that's happening, and we definitely believe that it's happening now.
Exactly. You guys over there at Radionomy, y'all have a cutting edge technology, and by you're not having to pay for the licensing fees. That is a big help.
Yeah, it gives opportunity to people that would not have that opportunity, no doubt about it.
Awesome. Well, what I'd like to do, because there's some people who are watching the webinar who are not familiar with the radiotomy system. They're trying to maybe follow in your footsteps to see what you're doing. So what I'd love to do is kind of quickly walk through the platform and get your guys' input and what you felt about the kinds of things that you saw once you got started. So I'm going to just run through some of the feature sets and if you guys have any comment or thoughts about what you see, feel free to jump in. So really, okay, what we're talking about is handcrafted radio, which is something that we've been talking about today with Crazy C and Hatta too, that it really is about programming. It's not just a bunch of songs that are generated by a computer. It's got heart, it's got history, and we really put in your hands the complete programming capability. But this goes beyond just hobby. It is about generating revenue and generating a following and how you do that. So most important, and Crazy C, thank you for saying that a couple times. Appreciate that. There are never any costs to the creator. If you are someone who wants to program, if you are someone who wants to jump on, you will never see a streaming bill or a music licensing bill from us. And that really is the big difference between us and the other providers out there for internet radio. But at the same time, we're not trying to take away your brand and who you are. You are not underneath our tent, so to speak. You are free to succeed by creating your own station, infuse your own personality. Have you all tried to go live yet with the system?
We talked about it, but we haven't implemented it just yet.
Well, let's do it. That'd be fun. We can have a live party. But it has both the ability to program 24/7 on the cloud and also go live. And there's some collaboration opportunities too on the cloud. But most importantly, the custom player for mobile, for web, for social, so that you get your imaging, your brand out there. And that's really the key to this. Now, the revenue part, just for anyone who's new to the system, what we do is we take 4 minutes an hour and we put in national ads that we have sold for you. And again, we'll just take 4 minutes, and that's going to help us pay for the royalties and the music licensing, and the rest is yours. So you can take on sponsors or other messaging in the hours that we program. So, but the built-in revenue allows you to really, have your costs taken care of. And then when you hit some audience benchmarks, it even gets better because we're going to start sharing that revenue back with you, and that's exciting. Um, when we start really focusing on content, we bring that all the way to the technology. So content is truly king. So when you get into our system, you're going to see there's places for music, playlists, jingles, podcasts, promos. How did you guys feel when you first jumped into what we call the RMO, the Radio Manager Online in the Cloud? What'd you think?
I was confused at first.
It can
But I
be,
figured it
it's
out.
serious.
But you know what's so funny? What it is? Because I don't like to read instructions. I just like to get in and start doing it. C's kind of like the meticulous one. He'll try to go in and read it and figure it out. I want to just walk to it, start doing it. And so I actually did that. And with his help, because he did read and I didn't, and me just going and doing what I felt like doing, I kind of figured it out on the fly, so to speak. Now I don't recommend everybody do that. It's just my way, and I'm just I'm against the grain type of guy, as as is Crazy C as well. So I guess that's why we work so well together. But I just went there and started doing it, and then when I started figuring it out, I started going about doing things the correct way.
And I think that's one way, you got to jump in, and we also have a lot of tutorials that we're working on YouTube, on our YouTube channel, to continue to kind of help depending on how you like to learn, so that you have a way to jump in and start programming. But really, I think what's exciting about the RMO is it's all on the cloud, so you can collaborate. And the whole program was really designed after, radio schedulers. So we take you seriously, and we give you a lot of ways to make sure that your station is sounding professional. The exciting part is once you get the station up and running, that's when we can help push you out to an audience. Right now, we push you out to the Radionomy network, which is where you saw earlier Super Throwback Party is listed there and doing great. But more importantly is their website at superthrowbackparty.com, where they have, this is a sample of another rock festival we worked with, but the customized player available not only for the website, but other people's website, which is what we were talking about when we met in Austin, is that you got to give this thing away like candy. This is your ability to syndicate on every website that is silent and could use the music that you program or the talk that you program. And I think that's an important part because people are still listening online, and even though everything's going mobile, mobile, mobile. And we just recently did a deal with .fm. We're encouraging all of our broadcasters to get a .fm domain. And if you don't have a website, we've got one for you, or you can redirect it to your own website. So it really is about getting audience wherever. And you see here is a sample of the player embedded in a website. And then we have it in TuneIn, as we mentioned before. We really want to get you to all the places where people are listening, iTunes Radio, and of course, mobile, mobile, mobile. If you decide to build your own mobile app, we have some great partners that we're working with on that. We can get the stream going in there too. But as we talked about earlier, man, it is so important to be everywhere, including the mobile and then the social. The fact that you guys integrated the social media part so quickly, I think is key to your success, and the fact that you're, growing at the rate that you're growing. So well done. And as we talked about before, why start with just one? Too many, too many. But of course, as we mentioned, I think it's good advice. Do it once right, and then copy paste, as they say. We work. The reason that we're able to give it to you for free, and I know at first people hear that and I'm like, okay, what's the catch? Well, the catch is that we have figured out that advertising pays. And if we can sell it for you with our partners at Target Spot, then we're all ahead of the game. Then we're in business together. Then the bigger you get, the better. And then we can just work on focusing on audience. So Target Spot is a real key to how we're able to do it for free. And we're all serious about the audience, and that's why the analytics are also part of the platform. You're going to know who's listening, how long, where in the world. How often do you guys check your stats?
Every day I do.
Cool. What's most fascinating are the different countries that you're represented in, or where people are listening. What do you find?
The listening hours per day. That's what I'm focused on.
A true businessman. Well, it's good that the stats actually give you a lot of numbers to play with, in hopes that you're turning this into a real deal as well. So, hey guys, I wanted to thank you so much for spending the time with us again. I've been talking to DJ Hatta and Crazy C, the dynamic duo behind Super Throwback Party. You guys have been awesome to come on and talk about the platform, and we look forward to great things ahead.
Well, thank you, Ms. Ray. Thanks to everybody. We appreciate it. Thank you so much.
All right, have a good one. Thank you all.
Take care.
Bye-bye.